Good morning. I am Dr. Bhavna Tandon, Associate Professor in Electronics and Communication Engineering Department of Chandigarh Engineering College, Landra. I am going to present my today's lecture on the topic signal flow graphs in the linear control systems. So what is signal flow graph? Signal flow graph is a diagram which represents a set of simultaneous equations. Actually, when we have to find the dynamic response of the control system, we need to mathematical model the dynamic system, and then we have to write some equations that explains completely the dynamics of the system. Then the next step is to find the transfer function of the system. So to find the transfer function of a complex control system, we have two methods. One is block diagram reduction technique, another is signal flow graph. Signal flow graph is a diagram which represents the set of simultaneous equations that explains the dynamics of any control system. This method was developed by S.J. Mason. This method does not require any reduction technique. It consists of nodes, and these nodes are connected by directed lines called branches. Every branch has an arrow which represents the flow of signal. For complicated systems, when block diagram reduction technique method become tedious and time consuming, then SFG is a good choice. Now what is the fundamentals of signal flow graphs? As you can see in the slide, this is the signal flow graph of the equation y is equal to ax. This is the equation y is equal to ax, y is the output of the system and x is the input and a is the transfer function. So output is related to the input by the transfer function. As we have already discussed in the last lecture, the transfer function is a ratio of Laplace transform of output to the Laplace transform of input, provided all initial conditions to be equal to 0. And transfer function approach, or we can say Laplace transform approach, is the easiest method to find the dynamic response of any control system. So if we have an equation y is equal to ax, y is the output, x is the input, and y is equal to ax, then it can be shown with the signal flow graph like this. This node represents the output y, and this node represents the input x, and a is known as the transmittance or the gain or the transfer function of the system. So you can say a as the transmittance, the gain, or the transfer function of the system. Every variable in a signal flow graph is designed by a node. So every input is represented by a node and every output in the system is represented by a node. Every transmission function is in a signal flow graph is designed by a branch. So the transfer function or the transmittance or the gain that is represented by the branch with the help of an arrow and its gain. Branches are always unidirectional. The arrow in the branch denotes the direction of the signal flow. Now this is another example. How do we represent these equations with the help of signal flow graph? These are two simultaneous equations. Y1s is equal to G11s dot R1s plus G12s dot R2s, and the other output Y2s will be equal to G21s into R1s and G22s is equal into R2s. R1 and R2 are the two inputs and Y1 and Y2 are the two outputs. So how these Y1 and Y2 are related with R1 and R2? By using these equations, and how they can be represented by the signal flow graph model. This is shown in this slide. So as you can see here, Y1 is G11s R1s plus G12 R2s. So Y1s is represented by a node, Y2s is represented by a node, R1s input is represented by a node, and R2s input is represented by a node. So Y1s is equal to R1s into G11s plus R2s into G12s. This is how we can represent these equations by signal flow graph models. Similarly, Y2s is equal to G21s into R1s plus G22s into R2s. If two same branches are on the same node, then they can be considered as the addition of these two terms. So Y2s will be equal to R1s into G21s and plus G22s into R2s. So this is how we can represent these two simultaneous equations with the help of signal flow graph. This is another equation, another example we can say x0 is the input and x4 is the output of this system. So x0 is represented as the input node here and x4 is represented as the output node here. So these are the equations by which x1, x2, x4 are related to x3, x0 and x2. So these equations can be modeled as this signal flow graph here. So with the help of this signal flow graph, we can see here, what is x1 here? x1, we have two branches that are ended at this x1 node. So x1 will be equal to a into x0 plus b into x1. So x1 is equal to a into x0 plus b into x1. Similarly, if we see x2 here, x2 is here is d into x1 and this is plus e into x3. So this is how we can represent the simultaneous equation using the signal flow graph. So each and every input and output, they are represented by a single node, and the gain, that is represented on the branch with the help of the arrow. Another example, there are three equations here in this system. x2 is equal to a21 x1 plus a23 x3, x3 is equal to a31 x1 plus a32 x2 plus a33 x3, x4 is equal to a42 x2 plus a43 x3. So as we can see these equations, we have x2, x3 and x1 and x4. These are the four nodes. So corresponding to these four nodes, we have this x1, this is x2, this is x3 and this is x4. Now we can see the first equation. What is x2? x2 is equal to a21 x1 plus a23 x3. So this is x2 here. x2 is equal to a21 x1. We can represent the arrow. This is the arrow must be unidirectional, as I have already told you. x2 is equal to a21 x1 here and plus a23 x3. So this is the x2, because x2 के ऊपर सिर्फ we have only two inputs here. One is from x1, other is from x3. This is the output, so this will not be considered here. So these are only the input that are coming from x1 and x3 on this x2 node. Similarly, if we see the second equation, x3 के ऊपर we have a31 x1, we have a31 x1 from this side. This is a31 gain and this is x1. So a31 x1 plus a33 x3 plus a32 x2. These are the three inputs that are coming on the node x3. So we are taking these three here, a32 x2, a31 x1 and a33 x3. The last one is x4. x4 is here. x4 is equal to a42 x2 plus a43 x3. So a43 x3 is coming this way and a42 x2 is coming this way. So these two are the inputs that are collected at this node x4. So x4 can be written as a42 x2 plus a43 x3. So this is how we can represent these three simultaneous equations with the help of this signal flow graph. So this is the signal flow graph by which we can pictorially show how the outputs are depending upon the different inputs and by how much gain or transmittance. So this is another way of drawing the same signal flow graph. So we can take the nodes this way also. We can take x1, x2, x3, x4. So no need to take, like always, it is not compulsory to take the nodes in horizontal. So we can take in like any direction. These are some terminologies that are related to the signal flow graph. An input node or source contain only the outgoing branches, that is x1. So x1 is here only known as input node because there are only the outgoing branches from this node. Second, output node. Output node is also known as sink. The output node contain only the incoming branches. For example, this x4. x4 is known as output node here. Path. What is path? Path is a continuous unidirectional succession of branches along which no node is passed more than once. No node should be encountered more than once. This is the characteristics of any path. So path is a continuous unidirectional succession of branches along which no node is encountered more than once. So here are what are the paths here? First path is x1 to x2 to x3 to x4. This is the first forward path. Then x1 to x2 and x4. This is the second forward path. Third is x2, then x3 and x4. These are some paths. They are represented in this signal flow graph. Next is forward path. What is forward path? Forward path is that path that links the input directly to the output. But the condition is again the same, that no node should be encountered more than once in the way. So what are the forward paths here? Directly starting from the input, we will reach at the output node. So what is the forward path? In this signal flow graph, we have two forward paths. One is x1, x2, x3, x4. Another is x1, x2 and x4. No other forward path is possible here. We cannot say like x1, x2, then x3, then x2, then x3, x4. We cannot say it like a forward path because the condition is that no node should be encountered more than once. So that is the forward path. What is feedback path? Feedback path is always also known as loop. Loop means this node se start honge, we will come back again to that node. And the condition will remain the same, that no other node should be encountered more than once in the way. So what are the loops, different loops that is shown in this SFG is, first loop is this, we start from x2, we go to x3, then we come back to x2. This is first loop. Okay? This is the loop here in this signal flow graph. This is, we can say, the only loop this is shown in the signal flow graph. Another loop is there. We start from x3, we go here through a33 and come back to x3, but this is known as self loop. This is also a loop, but this is known as self loop. So the next definition is again the self loop. Self loop is a feedback loop consisting of a single branch. For example, a33 is a self loop. I have already told you. What is next? Next is gain. Gain of a branch is the transmission function of that branch. I have already told you कि gain is nothing but the transfer function, or we can say the transmittance. ठीक है? For example, this a21 is the gain, this a32 is the gain, this a43 is the gain, a42 is the gain, a33 is the gain. So these all are the gains. Next is the path gain. Path gains means the path gain is the product of branch gains encountered in traversing a path. Whenever we go through a path, for example, we take the forward path here, we start from x1 and goes to x2 through this path, x1, x2, x3, x4. So what are the transfer functions here? Transfer function is a21, a32 and a43. So the transfer function, or known as we can say the path gain of this path is a21 dot a32 dot a43. So the path gain is the product of the branch gains encountered while traversing a path. Similarly, the loop gain. When we traverse a loop, we start from node, we come back to that node. Okay? The product of all the branch gains in that loop will be equal to the loop gain. For example, we take this loop, we start from x2, we go to x3, we again come to x2. This is a loop. And what are the transfer functions encountered? a32 and a23. So a32 dot a23. This is the loop gain of this loop. So we'll take the product of all the gains that are encountered while traversing that loop. So two loops, path or loop and a path, they are said to be non-touching if they have no nodes in common. So there are two loops. Two loops are said to be non-touching loop if they have no node in common or no branch in common with them. So they are known as non-touching loops. Now we'll consider some examples. Consider this signal flow graph below and identify the following. We have to identify the input node here. We have to identify the output node here. The forward paths in this signal flow graph. We have to identify the feedback paths, or we can say loops in this signal flow graph. Then we have to determine the loop gains of the feedback loops. We have to determine the path gains of the forward path, and then we have to determine the non-touching loops. So these all are, we have to identify these all related to the signal flow graph. As you can see in the signal flow graph, the input node is this, represented by RS. The output node is this, represented by CS. So these are input and output node. Then we identify the number of forward paths in this. Forward paths, the condition will remain the same, कि while traversing a forward path, no node should be encountered more than once in the way. So if we start from input, we directly go to output using this path. So RS, start from RS, then must have to reach CS. This is the forward path. So this is the first forward path having the transfer function G1, G2, G3, G4, G5, G7. This is the first forward path. Another forward path is like G1, G2, G3, G4, G6 and G7. So no node is encountered more than once in the path. So these two are considered as the two forward paths in this signal flow graph. I am again telling G1, G2, G3, G4, G5, G7. This is the first forward path. G1, G2, G3, G4, G6, G7. This is the second forward path. We cannot say like that. This ki G1, G2, then H1, then G3, G4, G5, then G7. We cannot say like this. Because if we take G1, G2, then H1, then again this node will be encountered twice. So this is wrong. So while traversing a forward path, no node should be encountered more than once. This is the only condition. So there are two forward paths in this signal flow graph. Then we see loops. If we talk about loops, we start from the node, we come back again to that node, and no other node should be encountered more than once. So if we take this, we start from this node and we come back to this node. So the transfer function will be G2 into H1. So G2 H1 will be the first loop. Okay? Second loop will be this. This is G4 and the feedback path is having the transfer function H2. So G4 H2 will be the second loop. The third loop we can say is G4 G5 H3. This is the third loop here. Okay? So next loop we can say G4 G6 and H3. This is the next loop. So these are the loops that are present in this signal flow graph. So loop gains, we can say G2 H1 is the first loop gain, G4 H2 is the second loop gain, G4 G6 H3, it is the third loop gain. So these are some loops. So we can show one by one here. These are the forward paths I have already told you. One is this forward path G1, G2, G3, G4, G5, G7. Another is G1, G2, G3, G4, G6, G7. This is second forward path that is shown by the blue color. So there are two forward paths we have already discussed. Then we discussed about loops. We have already discussed that this is the first loop. This is represented by red color. G2 H1 is the transfer function of this loop, or we can say loop gain. Second loop is this G4 H2. Third loop is this G4 G6 H3. And fourth loop is this G4 G5 and H3. So there are four loops here. So now non-touching loops. Non-touching loops that I have already told you, non-touching loops are those loops which have no node or no branch in common with each other. So if we see, there are total four loops. As we see in the previous slide, this was the previous slide. We have in total we have four loops. So what are the non-touching pairs here that we have to identify now? So non-touching means no loop, no branch or no node should be common. As you can see here, this loop, yes, this loop and this loop, they have no branch and no node common between them. So G2 H1 and G4 H2, these are the pair of non-touching loops. Another, again this loop and this bigger one, G2 H1 and G4 G6 H3. This is the second pair of non-touching. Then G2 H1 and this G4 G5 H3. This is also non-touching. So we have three non-touching loop pairs in this SFG that is shown by the transfer functions. Okay, these are non-touching loop gains. Now we take another example. This is another SFG. So now again we have to identify the input nodes, output node, forward path, feedback path, self loop, determine the loop gains of feedback loops, determine the path gains of the forward path. So we have to identify all these in this SFG. So as we can say, X1 is the input node here and X8 is the output node here. So now we will identify the forward path here. Forward path means we start from the input node, we reach the output node, no node should be encountered more than once in the path. So if we start from X1 and we reach at X8, so one way is direct. Direct means 1 into A32 into A43 into A54 into A65 into A76 into 1. This is the first forward path having this gain A32.A43.A54.A65.A76. This is the gain of this first forward path. Another forward path here is this. We can say according to the direction, we can say this is the second forward path. This is X1, X2, then through A72 we reach X7 and then X8. This is the second forward path. So gain of this forward path is only A72. The third forward path here is we start from X2, we go to X2, then through A4 to we reach here X4 and then A54, A65, A76, 1 and come out to the output X8. So this is the third forward path. So we will show one by one. This is the input node, I have already told you. X1 is the input node and X8 is the output node. So these are three forward paths I have already told you. This is the first forward path, straight, starting from X1, reach at X8, no node should be encountered more than once. So first is A32, A43, A54, A65, A76. Second, the forward path will be X1, X2, then this and directly out to X8. So A42, A54, A65, A76, this is the gain of second forward path. The third forward path is X1, X2 and then X7 and X8. So the gain will be only A72 here. So these are the three forward paths that are identified in this signal flow graph. Now we come to the loops. If we talk about loops, we start from the node, we come back again to that node and no other node should be encountered more than once in the way. So the first loop here is when we start from X2, we go to X3 and then we will come back again to X2. This is the first loop having the gain A32 into A23. A32 is the forward path gain of this loop and A23 is the feedback path gain of this loop as shown by the arrows. So this is the first loop. Second loop is shown by this. We start from this node, we go to this node and then come back to this node. So A43, A34 will be the gain of this second loop. Third loop as shown by this, we start from this X4 node, we go to X5 then come back to X4. The gain will be A54 into A45. Then the next loop will be, we start from X5, we go to X6 and then come back to X5. So A65 into A56, that will be the loop gain of this particular loop. Then this loop is here. We start from X6, we go to X7 and then come back to X6 and the gain will be A76 into A67. Then this is the self loop. This is the self loop. We start from X7 node, we go to this transfer function A77 and then again come to X7 itself. So this is the self loop X7 to X7. This will be the example of self loop. So these are the loops here. Yes. Instead of that, we also have these loop as shown by this red color. We start from X2. We start from X2. We go to A72. We reach here X7. Then through A57, we have A45, A34, A23, and we come back to X2. This is another important loop that is shown in this signal flow graph. We start from X2, then go to X7, then through this feedback of A57, we come to X5. Then to X4, then to X3 and then to X2. So the gain of this loop will be equal to A72 multiplied by A57 multiplied by A45 multiplied by A34 multiplied by A23. So this is very important loop that is shown in the signal flow graph. Another loop is this. In the same graph we have another loop. We start from X2, we go through A72 and we reach at X7, then A67, A56, A45, A34, A23 and we come back to X2. No node is encountered more than once in the way. So this is also a feedback path or loop in this signal flow graph. So this is self loop, as I have already told you. This is the only self loop that is present in the signal flow graph. We start from X7, we transverse through A77 and we come back to X7. This is self loop. So these are loop gains. So that the loops we identified, we multiply the gains of that loop, we multiply the branch gains of that loop and we get these loop gains for the feedback loops. These are the path gains. We have identified 3 forward paths. So these are the gains of the forward path. First forward path is this. We have gain A32, A43, A54, A65, A76. Second forward path is this. We have A72 here and third forward path is this. A42, A54, A65, A76 and out to output. Now what is Mason's gain formula? So this was the SFG. This was the signal flow graph. This was the means how we represent a simultaneous equation with the help of signal flow graph, with the help of nodes and with the help of transmittances and with the help of branches, how we show the simultaneous equation. So now we come to Mason's gain formula, because our ultimate goal is to find the transfer function of any control system. Transfer function means the ratio of Laplace transform of output to the Laplace transform of input provided all initial conditions to be equal to 0. So now on SFG we implement this Mason's gain formula to find out the overall transfer function of the complex control system. So what is this Mason's gain formula? This formula was given by Mason in 1953. The block diagram reduction technique requires successive applications of fundamental relationships in order to arrive at the system transfer function. Actually, there are two methods to find the transfer function of complex control system. One is block diagram reduction technique, another is this Mason's gain formula that is implemented on the signal flow graph. But block diagram reduction technique is very tedious and time consuming, and this SFG, or we can say Mason's gain formula, it is very easy as compared to the block diagram reduction technique. So this is far much easier as compared to this block diagram reduction technique. On the other hand, Mason's rule for reducing a signal flow graph to a single transfer function requires the application of only one formula. So with the help of only this one formula, we can find the transfer function of a complex control system that is represented by a signal flow graph. The formula was derived by S.J. Mason when he related the signal flow graph to the simultaneous equations that can be written from the graph. This was the Mason's gain formula. This is Cs by Rs. This is the overall transfer function of the control system. This is the Laplace transform of output. This is the Laplace transform of input. And this Cs by Rs of system is find out by this Mason's gain formula as summation of Pi delta I with I varies from 1 to n divided by delta. What is this Pi now? What is this delta I now? And what is this delta? And how can we find it using a signal flow graph? This I will explain with the help of examples. Now what is this n? Small n. What is this small n? Small n is the number of forward paths. So first we will reduce, the steps are like that. We will represent a control system with the help of some simultaneous equation. Then with the help of that simultaneous equation, we will draw a signal flow graph. Then by applying the Mason's gain formula on that SFG, we will find out the transfer function. So what is this small n? Small n is the number of forward paths in the SFG. as we have already discussed in the previous examples how to find the forward paths that link the input to the directly to the output node, provided all no node should be encountered more than once. So small n is the number of forward paths in the SFG. What is Pi? Pi is the ith forward path gain. Pi is the ith forward path gain. Next is delta. Delta is determinant of the system. How do we find the determinant of the system? That we will discuss later on. What is delta I? That delta is the determinant of the ith forward path. So these all factors we will discuss with the help of examples so that it may be more clear. So this is delta. First we discussed about delta. Delta is the determinant of the control system. And what is delta? Delta can be written as 1 minus sum of all individual loop gains. Okay, first we have to identify the loops, then we find out the loop gains as we have already discussed in the previous examples. Then we have to take the algebraic sum of all the loop gains in this first bracket. So this first bracket in delta will be sum of all individual loop gains plus next bracket is sum of the product of the gains of all possible two loops that do not touch each other. So for second bracket we have to identify the pairs of non-touching loops. When we identify the pair of non-touching loops as I have already discussed, non-touching loops are those loops which have no node or no branch common to each other. So when we identify the pair of non-touching loop, we will take the product. We will take the product of the transfer function of that pair. Then we will sum up all the transfer function of the different pairs. We will explain with the help of example. So first bracket we will have the individual loop gains. In second bracket we have the product of gains of the non-touching loops, pair of non-touching loops, minus sum of the product of gains of all possible three loops. Now in third bracket we have to identify the triplet of non-touching loops. We have to identify the triplet of non-touching loops. That means three loops that do not touch each other, that have no node or no branch common with each other, and so on. So this will go up to infinity. So this will be delta. Delta I will have the same value as that of delta, but delta I is only connected with the forward path I. Okay, delta I is only connected with the forward path I. The only condition is delta I will have the same formula, 1 minus sum of all individual loop gains, but one condition is added in each bracket, that particular loops must not be touched with that particular ith path. कि जिस ith path की हम बात कर रहे हैं कि the delta is calculated for ith path, तो ये जो loop gains हैं that must not touch that particular ith path. Similarly, second bracket, sum of the product of gains of the possible loops with non-touching. So non-touching pairs, we will identify the non-touching pairs that do not touch the particular ith path. So if we have to find delta I, one condition will be added in each bracket, that particular loop or pair of loops, non-touching loops or triplet of non-touching loop, they must not touch the particular ith path that we are considered here. So delta I will be equal to I is equal to number of forward paths. So if we have two forward paths, we have to calculate delta 1 and delta 2. We have three forward paths, we have to calculate delta 1, delta 2 and delta 3. Okay, so we will take with the help of an example. So these are the systematic approach to how to apply the Mason's gain formula on the signal flow graph. We have to calculate the forward path gain Pi for each forward path I. Then we have to calculate all loop transfer functions. Then we consider the non-touching loops, they pair two non-touching loops at a time. Then we consider non-touching loop triplet, three non-touching loops at a time, etc. Then we calculate delta and then we calculate delta I. Then we put in the values in the Mason's gain formula and we can find the transfer function. So we will consider it with the help of an examples. So this is the signal flow graph on which we have to implement the Mason's gain formula to find its transfer function. So we can see R is the input of this signal flow graph and C is the output. So we have to find CS by RS using Mason's gain formula. So first we identify the number of forward paths in this SFG. Number of forward paths means we start from R, we reach C, no node should be encountered more than once along the directions we have to move. So first forward path is this, we can see. So the transfer function is 1 into G1, G4 into G2 into 1 into 1. So on the whole we have the transfer function of first forward path represented as G1, G4 into G2. So we represent it by P1 because Pi is the gain of the forward paths. So P1 is the first forward path having the transfer function G1, G2, G4. Another forward path is here. We start from R, we go from G1, G4, we go from G3 and then we reach at C. So G1, G3, G4 is the transfer function of the second forward path and that is represented by P2. So there are only two forward paths in this signal flow graph having the gain G1, G2, G4 and G1, G3, G4. So next we have to find out, P1, P2. Now we have to find out delta, delta 1 and delta 2. Now what is delta? Delta is related to the number of loops. As I have already seen the formula, 1 minus sum of all loop gains plus sum of products of the gains of the non-touching loops and then triplets of non-touching loops and so on. So now we have to identify the loops here in this SFG. As we can see in this SFG, we have one loop, this, we start from this node, we go to this forward path, then we come to this feedback path and that we again come to this node. So G1, G4, H1, this is the first loop having the transfer function L1, G1, G4, H1. So second loop is this, we start from this node, we go to this node, then this node, then this node and this through this feedback path we again come to this node. So no node is encountered more than once in this path. So transfer function will be G1, G4, G2 into 1 into minus H2. We will also take the signs because this is the negative feedback. So the negative sign is here with the transfer function. So the overall transfer function L2 will be equal to minus G1, G2, G4 into H2. Next forward path, next loop is we start from this node, we go to this, then we go to this, then we go to this, then through this feedback path we again come to this node. So the transfer function will be G1, G4, G3, 1 into minus H2. So L3 will be minus G1, G3, G4 into H2. So there are three loops. So these are the three loops we identified. Now if we see these three loops, we have to identify the pair of non-touching loops from these three loops. So if we see L1 and L2, so this is L1 and this is L2, but this is not non-touching because these two loops are having this node as common, this branch as common. So these are not considered to be the non-touching loops. Then if we check the L1 and L3 pair, L1 is this pair and L3 is this pair. So this is also non-touching because this is also not non-touching because they have this node common, they have this branch also common. So they are also not non-touching. Next we have to check the L2 and L3. Now L2 kya tha? L2 was this loop and L3 was this loop. So they are also touching. They are also not non-touching. So we have no pair of non-touching loops here. So if we don't have pair, then how should we have the triplet of non-touching loops here? So we stop here. So we put the values in delta. Now we find the delta from here. Delta is 1 minus sum of all individual loop gains because all the brackets get cancelled out because we have no pair of non-touching loops, we have no triplet of non-touching loops in this particular question. So 1 minus sum of all individual loop gains. So we sum up here L1 plus L2 plus L3 with the respective signs. L1 is positive, G1, G4, H1. L2 was G1, G2, H4, H2 with negative sign and L3 was G1, G3, G4, H2 with negative sign. So we sum up all the loop gains with their corresponding signs. So this will be equal to delta. Now we have to find delta 1 and delta 2. Delta 1 and delta 2 will have the same formula as that of delta, but the condition added in each bracket is the loop we identify or the pair of non-touching loop we identify, they must not also touch the forward path we are talking about. So if we are talking about delta 1 is related to the path P1. So if we talk about the loop gains here, so that loop, we will consider only that loops here that will not touching the forward path P1. So forward path P1 was this. Lekin there is no loop that is non-touching to this forward path P1 because this loop also touch the forward path P1 and this loop also touch the forward path P1. They have some node or branch common with each other. So 1 minus 0 will be equal to 1. So delta 1 is always equal to 1, only equal to 1 here because we don't have any loop that is non-touching to the path P1. So if we talk about delta 2 is related to path P2. And what was path P2? Path P2 was this path. So we will identify now that loops that will non-touching to this path P2. अब इस path P2 को there is no loop here that does not touch this path P2. So 1 minus 0 will be equal to 1 again. So delta 1 and delta 2 both is equal to 1 in this particular example. So we have find out P1, delta 1, delta 2, P2 and delta. Now we put in the formula of the transfer function. C by R is equal to P1 delta 1 plus P2 delta 2 divided by delta because n Small n in this case was 2 because we had only 2 forward paths. So P1 delta 1 plus P2 delta 2, we put in the values and we get this transfer function. So this is how we can find the transfer functions using Masson gain formula that is implemented on the signal flow graph. Another examples, this is a signal flow graph shown here. We have to apply the Masson's gain formula on this signal flow graph to find the transfer function. This Rs is the input and this Ys is the output. We have to find Ys upon Rs. Okay? We have to find the transfer function Ys upon Rs. So for that, first step is to identify the number of forward paths. So if we take the forward paths, we have 2 forward paths here. That is, first it was shown in red color and second forward path is shown by the blue color. We start from Rs, we go to G1, then G2, then G3, then G4 and we reach at output node. Second forward path is we start from input node, we go to G5, G6, G7, G8 and we end at output node Ys. So these are 2 forward paths here. We cannot say like G1, G2 and then H2 and then G3 then H3. No, this is not considered as forward path because no node should be encountered more than once while traversing a forward path. So there are only 2 forward paths possible. P1 is having the gain G1, G2, G3, G4. P2 is having the gain G5, G6, G7 and G8. So these are the 2 forward paths. Second step, we have to identify the loops. There are 4 loops here starting from this node, traversing from G2, then L1, H2, then we come to this node. So this L1 is the first loop. This is the first loop, L1. L1 is having the gain equal to G2, H1. This is the second loop, L2, having the gain G3, H3. Third loop, L3, having the gain G6, H6. Last loop is L4, having the gain G7, H7. So there are 4 loops in this signal flow graph. So 2 forward path P1 and P2 and 4 loops L1, L2 and L3 and L4. L1 is equal to the product of this transfer function G2, H2. L2 is equal to G3, H3. L3 is equal to G6, H6 and L4 is equal to G7, H7. So these are 4 loops. Then we have to identify the pair of non-touching loops. Now out of these 4 loops, L1, L2, L3, L4, what are the non-touching loops? As we can see, L1 and L3, these are non-touching because they don't have any node or branch common with each other. Second pair is L1, L4, this is non-touching. Then we can say L2, L3 is non-touching and then we can say L2 and L4 is non-touching. So there are 4 non-touching loop pairs in this signal flow graph. L1 and L2 are touching and L3, L4 are touching because they have nodes common with each other. So there are 4 non-touching loop pairs, L1, L3, L1, L4, L2, L3 and L2, L4, non-touching pairs. So we will multiply the transfer function here, L1, L3 का transfer function multiply करेंगे. So L1 is G2, H2 and L3 is G6, H6. So L1, L3 first pair will become G2, H2, G6, H6. This is the first non-touching loop. Then L1, L4. L1 and L4, we have G2, H2, G7, H7. Then L2 and L3, we have G3, H3, G6, H6. Then L2 and L4, we have G3, H3 and G7, H7. So these are the 4 non-touching pairs. So we put the values in this formula. We already have the Masson's gain formula with us. Now the Masson's gain formula will become P1 delta 1 plus P2 delta 2 divided by delta because we have only 2 forward paths in the SFG. So in the numerator we have P1 delta 1 plus P2 delta 2 and in the denominator we have delta. And in delta we have 1 minus all the loop gains as we have already shown in the previous slide. We have 4 loops here, L1, L2, L3, L4. So in the first bracket of delta we will have L1 plus L2 plus L3 plus L4 and in the next bracket of delta we will have the sum of the product of the gain of the non-touching loops. So non-touching loop pairs we have L1, L3, L1, L4, L2, L4 and L2, L3. We will sum up these the product of the loop gains. So we will sum up L1, L3 plus L1, L4 plus L2, L4 plus L2, L3 in the second bracket and so on. So on means the third bracket will have the triplets of non-touching loops, but we don't have any triplet here of the loops that are non-touching to each other. So the bracket will end here. So we will have this formula as P1 delta 1 plus P2 delta 2 divided by delta. We put all the values and get the transfer function. Now for this particular example, if we want to find out CS by RS using Masson's gain formula, so we have to identify again the forward paths, then the loops, then the non-touching loop pairs, then the triplets of non-touching loop. So with the same steps we discussed earlier, we can find the transfer function of this signal flow graph also. Now the next question comes into mind, ki how do we derive a signal flow graph model from a block diagram? If we are given with the block diagram of the control system, then how do we derive a signal flow graph from that block diagram? Because in question papers, sometimes we are given with this block diagram of the control system and we have to find the transfer function using Mason's gain formula. But Mason's gain formula since only is applied to the signal flow graph, so first step is to convert this block diagram into signal flow graph. So RS is the input of this block diagram of the control system and CS is the output. So firstly we have to convert this block diagram into SFG. So there are certain rules. How do we convert a block diagram into the signal flow graph? The first rule is कि each and every comparator and each and every takeoff point in the block diagram is represented by a node in the signal flow graph. This is the first rule. कि each and every comparator and each and every takeoff point. This is known as takeoff point. Takeoff point means from where we take off some signal. This is also a takeoff point. So each comparator and each takeoff point is represented by a node in the signal flow graph. But the main thing we have to remember here, कि if the takeoff point just comes after the summing point, if the takeoff point just comes after the summing point, they will be considered as a single node. But if the takeoff point comes just before a summing point, they will be considered as a separate nodes. So this is the only thing we have to remember. I am repeating, if the takeoff point just comes after the summing point, then they will be considered as a single node. But if the takeoff point just comes before a summing point, they will be considered as a separate nodes. So the first rule is that we will represent each comparator or each takeoff point with a node. So this is the first node represented by RS. This is the second node represented by ES. This is ES. ES must be here. So this is the second node. This is the third node X1. Now we see RS and ES. Between RS and ES we have the transfer function equal to 1. But between ES and X1, this must be ES. Here ES must be here. This must be here. So between ES and between X1 and ES we have the transfer function equal to G1. Now between X2 and X1 we have the transfer function equal to G2. Between X3 and X2 we have the transfer function equal to G3. Between CS and X3 we have the transfer function equal to G4. So these are the transfer functions that are represented on the arrows as the transmittance of the branches. So between CS and X3 we have G4, between X3 and X2 we have G3 and so on. So we are represented each comparator and each takeoff point as a node and the transfer function as the transmittance of the branches. Now we will take the feedback path here. Feedback is from CS to this node X2. So we are taking CS to X2 and the transmittance is H1 but with a negative feedback. Because there is negative feedback here, so we will take here as minus H1. Minus H1 with arrows in the feedback direction. Another feedback is from X3 to X1. So we will take X3 to X1 feedback here, but the transfer function is H2 with a negative sign. So minus H2. So don't forget this in taking this negative sign if we have negative feedback here. Last feedback is from CS to first node. So ES. So we have taken CS to ES feedback with the minus H3 transfer function. So we will take minus H3 here. So this is how we convert a block diagram into signal flow graph. This is very easy to convert block diagram into signal flow graph because the only rule we have to remember is that we have to represent each comparator and each each takeoff point with a separate node. Okay? But the only condition is if the node comes just after the summing point or if the takeoff point comes just after the summing point, they will be considered as single node, and if the takeoff point comes before a summing point, they will be considered as a separate node. This is the only condition we have to remember. So now we can easily find out the transfer function of the signal flow graph by implementing the Mason's gain formula we have already discussed, by identifying the forward paths and loops and non-touching loop pairs. So now this is the second block diagram. Now we have to convert this block diagram into signal flow graph. So we will have to identify the number of nodes. So each, I have already told you that each comparator and each takeoff point is considered as a single node. So we will represent by the nodes here. This was the first node, ES, represented by this. Then we represent this comparator as this node x1, this takeoff point as this node, this CS as this node, okay? And then we will represent the, between x1 and y1 we have the transfer function g1, so we will represent by g1. Similarly, feedback, whenever we consider the feedback path, we have to identify the transfer function with the positive or negative feedback, whichever is represented. So this is how we convert a block diagram into signal flow graph. Again, this is the example. We have to find the transfer function of this signal, this block diagram. So firstly, we have to convert this block diagram into signal flow graph. Then we will identify, with the same procedure, we will identify the forward path. We will identify the loops. Then we will identify the non-touching loops, pair of non-touching loops and triplet of non-touching loops. Put in the values of P1 delta 1, P2 delta 2 and delta in the formulas, and we can find the transfer function easily. This is another last example how to find the control ratio of this block diagram. So we will represent each comparator with a separate node, and if this condition implements here, if the takeoff point comes just after the summing point, we will consider it as a single node. But if the takeoff point comes before a summing point, we will consider it as a separate node. This is the only condition we have to remember while converting a block diagram into signal flow graph. Thank you.